A Hungry Day by Isabella Crawford. By Grant Herlock. I mind him well. He was a quare old chap, come like meself from swate old Erin's sod. He hired me once to help his harvest in. The crops was fine that summer, praised be God. He found us, Rosie, Micky, and meself, just landed in the immigration shed. Meself was tying on their bits of clothes. Their mother, rest her tender soul, was dead. It's not meself can say of what she died, but 'twas the year the praties felt the rain, and rotted in the soil. And just to draw the breath of life was one long hungry pain. If we were hathens in a furren land, not in a country grand in Christian pride, faith, then a man might have the face to say, 'twas of starvation my poor Shiley died. But when the parish doctor came at last, when death was like a sunburst in her eyes, they looked straight into heaven, and her ears were deaf to the poor children's hungry cries. He touched the bones stretched on the mouldy straw. "She's gone," he says, and drew a solemn frown. "I fear, my man, she's dead." "Of what?" says I. He coughed and says, "She's let her system down." "And that's God's truth," says I, and felt about to touch her dawny hand, for all looked dark. And in my hunger bleached, schmall beating heart, I felt the kindlin' of a burning spark. Oh, by me soul, that is the holy truth! There's Rosie's cheek has kept a dimple still, and Micky's eyes are bright. The crathur there died that the weeny ones might eat their fill. And when they spread the daisies thick and white above her head that once lay on my breast, I had no tears, but took the childer's hands, and says we'll lave the mother to her rest. And och, the sod was green that summer's day, and rainbows crossed the low hills, blue and fair. But black and foul the blighted furrows stretched, and sent their cruel poison through the air. And all was quiet on the sunny sides of hedge and ditch the starvin' crathurs lay, and them as lacked the rint from empty walls of little cabins wapin' turned away. God's curse lay heavy on the poor old sod, and when upon her increase his right hand fell witheringly, there seemed no bit of blue for hope to shine through on the stricken land. No factory chimbleys smoked agin the sky, no mines yawned on the hills so full and rich. A man whose praties failed had naught to do but fold his hands and die down in a ditch. A flame rose up within me feeble heart, when passin' through me cabin's hingeless door, I saw the mark of Shiley's coffin in the grey dust on the empty earthen floor. I lifted Rosie's face betwixt me hands. Says I, "Me girleen, you and Mick and me must lave the green old sod and look for food in them strange countries far beyant the sea." And so it chanced, when landed on the streets, old Dolan, rollin' a quare old shay, came there to hire a roan to save his weight, and hired meself and Micky by the day. "An' bring the girleen, Pat," he says, and looked at Rosie lanin' up agin me knee. "The wife will be right plaised to see the child, the weeny shamrock from beyant the sea. We've got a tidy place, the saints be praised, as nice a farm as ever Brogan trod, 100 acres, us as never owned land big enough to make a lark a sod." "Bedad," says I heerd them over there tell how the goold was lyin' in the street, and guineas in the very mud that stuck to the old brogans on a poor man's feet." "Begorra, Pat," says Dolan, "may old Nick fly off with them rapscallions, schamin' rogues. An' send them thrampin' purgatory's floor, wid red hot guineas in their polished brogues. Och, then, says I, meself agrees to that. Old Dolan smiled with eyes so bright an' gray. Says he, "Kape up your heart, I never knew, since I come out, a single hungry day. But thin I left the crowded city sthreets, there men galore to toil in thim an' die. Meself went wid me axe to cut a home in the green woods beneath the clear swate sky. I did that same, and God be praised this day, plenty sit smilin' by me own dear door. An' in them years I never once't have seen a famished child creep tremblin' on me floor. I listened to old Dolan's honest words, that's 20 years ago this very spring, an' Mick is married, an' me Rosie wears a swateheart's little shinin' golden ring. 'Twould make your heart lape just to take a look at the green fields upon me own big farm, an' God be praised, all men may have the same that owns an axe an' has a strong right arm. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.